On June 25, 2024, Kenya's parliament witnessed unprecedented scenes as a group of anti-finance bill protesters breached security and entered the parliamentary precinct. The protesters, driven by frustration and anger, were determined to make their voices heard. The protesters, chanting slogans against the controversial bill, managed to get past security barriers, causing a temporary suspension of parliamentary proceedings. Their chants echoed through the halls, demanding immediate attention from the lawmakers. The incident highlighted the growing discontent among Kenyans regarding the proposed legislation, which many view as burdensome and insensitive to the plight of ordinary citizens. The finance bill, seen by many as a threat to their economic stability, has been a point of contention for months. The breach of security at Parliament, a symbol of Kenya's democracy, sent shockwaves across the nation. It raised serious questions about the effectiveness of the security measures in place and the potential risks to national security. The incident sparked a debate about the role of public protest in a democracy and the government's responsibility to safeguard the right to peaceful assembly. Many citizens argue that the government must listen to the people's grievances and address them constructively rather than suppressing dissent. Lawmakers are now faced with the challenge of balancing security concerns with the fundamental rights of citizens. The events of June 25 have undoubtedly left a lasting impact on the political landscape of Kenya. President William Ruto, in a televised address to the nation, condemned the protests, terming them as acts of anarchy. He emphasized that such actions disrupt the peace and stability of the country and cannot be tolerated under any circumstances. He vowed that those responsible for the breach of security would face the full force of the law. Ruto stressed that the government would not hesitate to take necessary measures to ensure the safety and security of its citizens. "We are a country governed by the rule of law," Ruto asserted. He reminded the nation that laws are in place to protect everyone and maintain order, and that no one is above the law. There are avenues for expressing dissent, but storming parliament is unacceptable. Ruto highlighted that democratic processes and institutions must be respected, and that violence and chaos undermine the very fabric of democracy. Ruto defended the finance bill, arguing that it was crucial for raising revenue and stabilizing the economy. He explained that the bill was designed to address the economic challenges facing the nation and to ensure sustainable development for future generations. He accused the opposition of inciting Kenyans for political gain and urged citizens to engage in constructive dialogue. Ruto called for unity and cooperation, urging all political leaders to work together for the common good of the country. The Finance Bill 2024 has been a subject of intense debate and scrutiny since it was tabled in Parliament. The bill proposes a raft of new taxes and levies, including a housing levy, increased VAT on fuel, and a digital tax. Critics argue that these measures will further burden Kenyans already struggling with a high cost of living. Proponents of the bill, however, maintain that it is necessary to raise revenue for development projects and service the country's burgeoning debt. They argue that the proposed measures are essential for long-term economic growth and stability. Section 4. Voices of Dissent. In recent times, the streets have become a battleground for voices demanding change. Opposition leaders and civil society groups have been vocal in their opposition to the finance bill. They argue that the bill is not just a financial document, but a symbol of the government's disconnect with the people. They have accused the government of turning a deaf ear to the plight of ordinary Kenyans. The bill, they say, will only deepen the economic hardships faced by many. This bill is a slap in the face of Kenyans who are already struggling to make ends meet, remarked Raila Odinga, leader of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party. His words echoed the sentiments of many who feel betrayed by their leaders. Trade unions have threatened to call for nationwide strikes if the government does not withdraw the contentious bill. They believe that the bill's implementation will lead to widespread job losses and economic instability. They argue that the proposed taxes will erode the purchasing power of workers and exacerbate an already dire economic situation. The fear is that this bill will push more families into poverty, making it harder for them to afford basic necessities. Section 5. The road ahead. The events of June 25, 2024 have undoubtedly heightened political tensions in Kenya. The government faces a delicate balancing act, addressing the concerns raised by the protesters while upholding the rule of law. The coming days will be crucial in determining whether the government and the opposition can find common ground on the finance bill. The outcome of this standoff will have far-reaching implications for Kenya's political and economic landscape.